Hey, this is Mr. C, and you've tuned in to 15.4 Graphing Equations. We're moving on in 3, 2, 1. At this time, please check your complete homework from 15.3 practice side. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so in our last lessons, we've had charts just like this at the bottom. We've had charts that have an x value and a y value. Today we're just going to be working with tables that look a little different. They're going to be up and down like this instead of side to side, but they mean the same thing. I see that there's still a 3 in the x and a 2 in the y. There's still a 3 in the x and a 2 in the y. It's just up and down instead of side to side. And I'll go more into that in just a second. But how can you graph a linear equation? The Booster Club members are making school pom-poms. Their supplies cost $4, and they plan to sell the pom-poms for $1 a piece. Let x be the number of pom-poms sold and y the profit. And so we're going to use this. So this is how much money they make. The pom-poms are $1, so there would be a 1 in front of this x for how much they sell it for, but 1x is exactly the same as x. So there is a price for each pom-pom in front of here, but you just can't see it. And then minus 4, that's how much their supplies cost, to show the relationship between x and y, with the first clue word of Nebraska. So what we're going to be working with today, they call them t-tables. I just say they're up and down x and y tables. And so here we have a t-table for this equation. Now, how did they come up with these x values? Well, they pretty much just chose 3 numbers. It doesn't matter. And specifically, they chose 0, 2, and 6. And so what they did was they took 0. They're like, all right, let's do 0 first. They took 0, and they put it into the equation for x, and then they got nothing, and then backwards 4. They got backwards 4 for y, and so that's what they wrote. And you can do that with many of the equations today. They just tried 3 numbers, and that's what they did. And then we would graph the line. Now, how are we making this jump from a table to graphing? Well, all they're doing is just taking this 0 and this -4. They're putting it together, and they're making an ordered pair. So we know that ordered pairs go x, y. So I know that first is the x, 0, right here. And next is -4. And so now we have an ordered pair. Now, where did they put 0, -4? All right, so I know 0 is the x. So where is, okay, there's 0 for x, and where's y equals -4? All right, I'm going down. This is the 0, -4. Right here is the 2, -2. And up here is the 6, 2. I would label that. So this dot right here is 6, 2. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. So here are our vocab notes. What specifically do I want you to write from here? Please write what I have circled in red. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Here's our example 1. So you should copy the t-table right here, and we're going to fill in values using this equation. So we have given you what values you're going to try. So first, we're going to put in -2 for x. And so we would have y equals 3 times -2. All right, 3 groups of backwards 2. Backwards 2 3 times. So that is backwards 6. So it's just basically 3 times 2, but I would bring my negative over to my answer as well. I only have one negative, so it'd be -6 or backwards 6. 0. All right, so that's y equals 3 times 0. So that would be 0. And 2. With the second clue word of helmet, and I know that's in the x column, so I'm putting it in for x. Y equals 3 times 2, and that would be 6. All right, so in example 1 goes your first coordinate plane, and we're going to graph these points. So first, I'm going to graph this point, -2, -6. All right, I'm going to go to x, I'm going to go to 1, 2, and then now I'm at y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went down 6, and I'm going to make a mark there. And I see that I also labeled it. Next is 0, 0, which is right in the middle. That's the origin. I'm going to label that 0, 0. And next is 2, 6. So I'm going to go to 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right there. After that, please draw a line through your dots. I know that it's not going to be completely perfect, but I tried my best. We're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, I see that we're already on to example 2. And in this number 4, make a t-table using these values. So we're going to make a t-table, looks like this, kind of like a lowercase t. Make x on the left side and y. And they told me the values to do for x, which are -2, 4, and 6. We're going to find out what they are for y. Please try to complete this t-table by yourself using this equation. Show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Well, our equation is really simple. It's just whatever x is, that's also what y is. So I basically just bring each number over. Next would be to graph them. So our second coordinate plane would be going in example 2, number 1. Please try to graph these now. I'm going to show you where they're graphed in 3, 2, 1. All right, and your graph should look like that with your points labeled. Going on to the second example of example 2 in 3, 2, 1. All right, here's your second example 2 problem. Make sure you write down the equation. And here's your t-chart. Please fill in your y values when you substitute this x in for x, and then graph your line. I'm going to show you the answers in 3, 2, 1. And there are the answers. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. Here's independent or partners practice. Here's the first one. Please make a t-chart and labeling this with the values right here. Once you're done, please move on in the video, showing you the answers in 3, 2, 1. There's the answer to the first independent practice problem, and moving on to the last and second one. Here's your last independent practice problem, writing your t-chart with my values for x. And please do this right now, coming back for the answers in 3, 2, 1. And that's the last independent practice problem. Moving on to 3, 2, 1. At this time, please do the Khan Academy video and practice below, followed by these choices as well as the ability to work on your homework. Thank you for watching, and you're awesome.